بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. My brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, we have crossed now a few days of the month of Ramadan, and of course for all of us this time it being a bit different. But nonetheless, the month of Ramadan, it definitely brings a spirit, and that's what we're going to speak about. It's the spirit of unity, even at times like this. The month of Ramadan, we notice every year that it naturally has this rhythm that it gathers us, it makes us want to be together, it makes us want to meet one another. And this is a part of the speciality of this month. And sometimes we think that possibly our spirituality, it doesn't have an effect on a communal basis, on the basis of community, or it doesn't have an effect on society. Rather, our spirituality is something which is individually we benefit from. But when you really look at our acts of worship, we notice that, for example, if you take the prayer, which is something actually a very individual type of worship and act, even that has an effect on society, has an effect on the unity and the community. And that is that Allah Ta'ala says, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar, that the prayer, it stops from immorality, right? And it becomes a means of stopping immorality from spreading and wrong actions from spreading in society. You take the zakat, for example. The zakat is something which very clearly it helps society. Giving to the needy, taking that percentage out of your wealth every year to give to the needy upon the command of Allah Ta'ala. You look at Hajj, for example, and you notice that it is one of the most beautiful journeys to almost, to the house of Allah Ta'ala. You're journeying metaphysically to Allah Ta'ala. It's such a beautiful journey, and it's such spiritually it benefits. But even in the acts of Hajj, for example, we notice that it gathers all the people. It teaches the people to accept one another, no matter what color or whatever area you're from. It makes every person one by making the people wear one type of cloth. And this really explains to us that at the end of the day, we're all humans. And if there is any reason for anyone to be above another person, it is by the judgment of Allah Ta'ala, which is upon the piety and taqwa in that person. But everyone, they start to accept one another, and they really feel that moment of unity. The same way the fast and the month of Ramadan does this. One of the greatest values of fasting itself, the greatest lessons that it brings to the table, is that it teaches us to be grateful, right? Food being one of the greatest blessings Allah gives us. Drink being a blessing which Allah gives us. Your relationship with your spouse, a blessing which Allah gives you. And all of these are blessings which now we are tested by Allah Ta'ala by not having them. And when you don't have the blessing, then that's when you really remember it. And that's when you really feel, the loss of it. And so it starts to make us more grateful, and it starts to make us be thankful for what we have and show compassion to those people who don't have it. And that's what the month of Ramadan does. And this is why when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as it comes in a hadith, he exited his household and he came to the companions and he gave a khutbah. And this wasn't your Friday khutbah, rather this was just a normal reminder. And he started by telling them that a month is coming upon you, and it's bringing its shade upon you, meaning its mercy upon you. And he describes it with many different descriptions. One of it being, وَهُوَ شَهْرُ الْمُوَاسَاةِ, that it is a month in which people show compassion to one another. People console one another. Now, that person who may not have as much as you have, and throughout the year he has that loss, now you can kind of feel what he or she goes through. So you start to feel compassion, and then you want to support that person. And then the Prophet ﷺ said that man fattara fihi sa'iman, the one who brings food to the table of one who fasted throughout the day, and he becomes a means of the breaking of that person's fast. He helps that person by bringing him something to eat and something to drink. Then what is the reward of that? The reward of that is كَانَ مَغْفِرَةً لِذُنُوبِهِ وَعِتْقَ رَقَبَتِهِ مِنَ النَّارِ. It is a means of the forgiveness of his sins and the freeing of himself from the hellfire. And this is a very, very great blessing, which man fattara fihi sa'iman, the one who brings food to the table of someone who fasted. Now the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked that, O Rasulullah, لَيْسَ يَجِدُ كُلُّنَا مَا يُفَطِّرُ بِهِ الصَّائِمِ, that not everyone amongst us has those means. Not everyone amongst us finds with his capability what he can do to bring food to the table for someone who has fasted. But you have to understand the approach of the Sahaba, which is that they didn't just say, okay, well, the companion, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying this, I don't fall in this category because I'm incapable, so therefore this advice is not towards me. Rather, they asked that, O Rasulullah, this is our condition, how can we go about it so we can also be a part of this blessing? And so then the Prophet ﷺ said to them that you can do so by even just bringing some milk to the person who have fasted, or just a drink of water, or one date. And this is something which we understand in our deen, that it's not always about how much you bring to the table, rather it's how you bring it. And rather it's what intention you bring it with. And so this philosophy which the month of Ramadan brings to us, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. One of the ayahs of the Quran, that be helpful to one another in acts of piety, in acts of worship, and support one another. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, right? تَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Support one another with patience. Be a shoulder to the other person. The Prophet ﷺ said that لِأَنْ أَمْشِيَ مَعَ أَخِي فِي حَاجَةٍ لَهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِنْ أَنْ أَعْتَكِفَ شَهْرًا. That for me to walk side by side and be that shoulder to my brother and to support him is more beloved to me than to make i'tikaf for 1 month. So, and we know that the time that we're in and the circumstances that we're in, they dictate that we show an increase in our support. And we show an increase in how we can help society by donating, by giving food, and by doing whatever we can, in our capacity, in our capability to help those people around us. This is one of the blessings of the month of Ramadan. We know that the month of Ramadan, it's beginning our days of mercy. We are in days of mercy in which the immense mercy of Allah Ta'ala sheds. How can we ask for more mercy from Allah Ta'ala? And how can we navigate the attention of Allah's mercy towards us? The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن ارحموا من في الأرض يرحمكم من في السماء. That those who are merciful, they are kind, they are generous. Allah Ta'ala, the most merciful, Ar-Rahman, He is merciful, He shows His mercy to them. And then the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Irhamu man fil ard, have mercy upon those people on the earth, Yarhamkum man fis sama. Those who are on earth, have mercy upon them, and the one in the sky, Allah Ta'ala will have mercy upon you as a result of that. So if we want to attract more of the mercy of Allah Ta'ala, this is the way we can do this. Man fattara fihi sa'iman, to bring food to the one who has fasted doesn't mean necessarily that you have to bring a feast to that person, right? Nor does it have to be only to your friends or your family. Rather, we should be showing more compassion to those who are actually in need, right? So we should try our best to find those people who are in need. There's moments of Islamic history in which Muslims in the past, it is known about them that the poor amongst them would not like to show their neediness, and so they would hide. But then those Muslims who were given wealth, they would search for those people. They would search for those people. And so we should search for the opportunity in which we can give, in which we can show our generosity. The Prophet ﷺ, as Aisha radiallahu anha says, the Prophet ﷺ was very generous. And وَكَانَ فِي رَمَضَانَ أَجْوَدَ مَا يَكُونَ. And in the month of Ramadan, he would be the most generous that he could be. So my brothers and sisters, taking this mindset which the Rasul ﷺ gave us, that the month of Ramadan is a month of compassion, a month of support, a month in which we console one another, right? A month in which we console our Muslim brothers and our sisters. We should try to do as much as we can. I ask Allah Ta'ala that He give us tawfiq to do so, and that we are able to attract the mercy of Allah by being merciful to His creation. Jazakumullahu khairan for watching. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka Allahumma wa natubu ilayk.